Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a hell of a show in store for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, we have a survey that we want you guys to fill out. We have the pin in the comments. It'll only take you a few minutes, and you have an opportunity to win some Amazon gift cards that we're going to be giving out before the end of this month. So please make sure you fill that out. Only take you a few minutes. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So, as you guys know, the WNBA is one of the hot topics right now with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and all of the things surrounding that. Obviously, we know the exchange that took place on ESPN First Take about a week or so ago with Stephen A. Smith, Monica McNutt, and all of that. So it's a pretty trending topic. So what happened? Team USA's women's team announced that Caitlin Clark didn't make the final cut for their roster to go compete in the Olympics, and it drew a spectrum of responses. And they actually discussed this in this pretty long segment yesterday on ESPN First Take. I think the segment was about 17 to 20 minutes. I could be wrong. And the basic premise of the conversation was the following. Did Team USA's women's basketball team make a mistake by not ensuring that Caitlin Clark is on the team to market their brand, the WNBA as a whole? Or did they do the right thing by making it based on the merit and ensuring that more qualified players that ultimately would gel better with the compilation, the amalgamation of talent that they had assembled would be the best thing to do? So this is essentially what they were going back and forth about. So when it came Stephen A. Smith's chance to basically turn to take, to give his views on ESPN First Take, I thought he made some pretty compelling arguments where he pretty much left the panelists pretty much just, running for the hills, because I didn't think they really had a good rebuttal to what he had to say. So what we want to do now is we want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say yesterday about Caitlin Clark being left off the women's basketball team. And then want to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
If you want to go from a marketing perspective, sure, Caitlin is extremely marketable. However, I just want to pitch this to everyone. Imagine Caitlin joining this team and spending time on the bench. What is the conversation going to be about the entire time the Olympics is going on? Why isn't Caitlin getting more minutes? Why isn't Caitlin playing? I'm sure people will tune in, but what will the conversation be then? I think it's really interesting. Head coach Christy Sides for the Indiana Fever said that a monster was woken up in Caitlin Clark, and I think that is wonderful. I think motivation for Caitlin is wonderful. I'm going to say this. A monster has been woken in all of the women that were selected for the Olympic team also, because the conversation is again centered around Caitlin Clark. If your only argument for Caitlin is that it would have been a great marketing opportunity and you don't have basketball experience or chemistry with the group listed in your reasoning, I don't want to hear it. When you talk about Diana Taurasi, she has played overseas basketball. She is having a phenomenal season, putting up big time numbers, and two of her current teammates, though, are on the team, Shannon. You know what chemistry means. You know what it means to have somebody beside you out there on the playing field that you trust.
This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid. And I'm going to tell you why it's stupid. I want all the ladies on this squad to know every single one of y'all are deserving of it. Caitlin Clark does not deserve a spot ahead of any of the players on this roster, okay? If we're talking just basketball, you know we're not. Let's harken back to the Dream Team in 1992. Remember when Christian Laettner was on that squad? Forget the other pro players. Forget the pro players. That's a given. First time NBA players were allowed to participate. Don't put that damn screen up when I'm talking right now. I want to see Shanae and Andrea, okay? The point is this. Those rosters, right? Those players were on there. Do you know that Christian Laettner also was chosen ahead of Shaquille O'Neal and Alonzo Mourning? You know why? He was a two-time national champion. He was a Wooden Award winner. And he was white. and he had his own cachet. He brought it to the table. He was a big-time collegiate player who was white and busting people's you-know-what. They couldn't miss, and they didn't need him. You had Jordan, you had Magic, you had everybody, and you still picked that dude. Why? It wasn't because of basketball, even though he had the basketball credentials. It was because of something else, and they didn't need the pub. But the WNBA does. You got a max salary at $250,000. You had attendance, although it was trending in the right direction, certainly wasn't where you wanted it to be. And as Shannon pointed out just the other day, you got a team in the Indiana Fever with their struggling selves, struggling to win a damn game and be relevant. No team in the WNBA was worse other than the winless Washington Mystics, okay? And they went from 4,000 in attendance to 17,000. This girl is box office. I said a rising tide lifts all boats. What you do, especially if you're Team USA and you're trying to be globalized, it is an opportunity to globalize the WNBA brand. So people like Brittany Griner, God bless her soul, and others don't have to go to Russia in the off season to play additional basketball to get extra income. They could stay right here if the sport elevates its popularity and you ladies start getting what you richly deserve. I'll even get a bit personal to Chinea Gumake and Andrea Carter.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. As a matter of fact, this morning they were discussing it on Get Up with Mike Greenberg, Tim Legler, and Monica McNutt. They were discussing this very thing. Should the WNBA be focused on winning the Olympics, the gold medal, or should they be also thinking about marketing the brand? And funny enough, I think Tim Legler said that they should be more focused on promoting their brand, because ultimately it's going to help all of these players in the entire league in the long run. So what are my thoughts? Do you know what? I think Stephen A. Smith made some very good points, and I'm going to side with him on this particular issue. The reason I'm going to side with him is because of precedent. Instances in the past where players that were probably more qualified for a particular position, in this case in the men's team, they were left off the team to make a marketing move. He mentioned Christian Laettner. He mentioned Michael Jordan, right, with the Isaiah Thomas, being left off the dream team, right? So there's been precedent for it. Number one. Number two, I think that what he is advocating is that the WNBA think about this from a more macro standpoint. And I think that's what Stephen A. Smith has that's always been his viewpoint on this. I think some people try to distort and convolute his views on this, but even when he had that blow up of Monica McNutt on TV, essentially what he was saying was, don't hurt the golden goose. It's the same thing that Charles Barkley recently said. We reproduced a show on that. And a lot of people weighed in on that show as well. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. We just produced it over this weekend. Charles Barkley blasting the WNBA. You guys should definitely check that show out there. But I think that's his overarching point. That's the point he's always been making. Like, look, you guys are talking about, why weren't you covering the sport all these years ago? He's like, it's irrelevant. And now you have a situation in which you have someone who is bringing eyeballs to your product. Why wouldn't you want to put them on a center stage? And then he brought up the other point, was like, they were going to win anyway. Right? If you look at the men's basketball team, the Dream Team, they were beating teams with the widest margin of all time, right? So adding one other player was not going to make a difference. In this particular instance, I don't think it would have made a difference. And again, if you're about growing the WNBA, I think that you go ahead and just, you just make that decision. Is it fair? No, but ultimately you have a bigger view. You have the big picture in mind. So I don't think what he said was wrong. I agree with him. The point that the ladies were making, I understand that you want it to be based on the merit of it and blah 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 blah. I get all of that, but at the same time, man, if you leave her off that squad, it could have been a golden opportunity to promote the league and really strike when the iron is hot at this particular moment. Now, is she going to have an opportunity? In this case, we're talking about Caitlin Clark, to make future teams? Sure. Why not? Of course, there's a probability that she could do it ultimately, yes. But now the moment is now. Carpe diem, man. Seize the moment, because you don't know where the WNBA is going to be in terms of interest. 3 years from now. How many years do the Olympics come around? Every 4 years? So who knows where the interest is going to be 3-4 years from now. So you strike when the iron is hot and you make the decision now. This is my view. I agree with Stephen A. Smith 100% on this. I think he made some sound points, and he also backed it up with some concrete examples. So these are my thoughts. The question I have for the audience is, which side are you on? Are you on the side of Team USA putting together the best team to go out there and win the Olympic gold, or do you think they should also factor in the fact that you're trying to grow the product and look at it from a marketing standpoint? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.